Hi everyone,
Hi,
welcome. Hi.
hi, thank you.
Hi. Thank you all for guys. Hi everybody, my name is Kennedy Maikuma. I'll be your moderator for the day. Today, with my panelists, I have authors, upcoming authors. In this, today we are also looking into, as we are looking into the road to healing. We understand last week we talked about forgiveness, the prayer week we talked about hope. And now part of the reason why we know today we want to look into forgiveness is that after forgiveness it was the first stage to healing. And my panelists today will probably tackle the information about healing. They have gone through. Most of them are actually all of my panelists are survivors from the genocide against Tutsi. And with that, they came with grief, it came with loss, it came with betrayal. And so, if you are in that crossroad of your life, you're looking for a path towards healing, my guest will probably help you a lot if you give us a time, at least give us a year to us to let you know about healing. Now, I will start the introduction. I will start with Larissa. You'll be the first one to introduce yourself today. Then from Larissa, we'll go to Josiane and so on and so forth. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Larissa Murenzi. I live in Rwanda. I'm a YouTuber. I love God, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Larissa, for that brief introduction. The next person will probably introduce herself. I'll go to Mr. Hormisdas. Mr. Hormisdas, please. The floor is
Yes,
yours.
thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Hormisdas Ndayishimiye. I live in Rwanda with my family, my wife, and the two children. And I am the author of the book Heritage from Father. And I'm happy to share with you.
Thank you, Mr. Hormisdas. And the next
Thank you.
person will also introduce himself will be Josiane. Josiane, you're next.
Hi everyone, my name is Josiane Umulinga. I'm a Rwandese and a genocide survivor. Currently, I live in Kenya. I am a mother with three beautiful children, and I have an ongoing project, a book about my life in genocide and everything. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Now, today in our panelists, we have new faces, and we'll start with. Is it okay if I say my German friends? Is it fair enough? I know one is Rwandese, but both of them are based in Germany. So, the doctor, please, the floor is yours. Doctor, you're giving us a good, but you're on mute. Please unmute your mic. Dr. Wolfgang, your mic is on mute.
Mute.
Your mic is on mute. Oh,
Yes.
perfect.
Now you can hear me? Yes.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
My name is Wolfgang Reinhardt. I have been in Rwanda for the first time in '97 for the first big conference after the genocide against the Tutsi, a conference in Gahini, organized by mainly the Anglican churches, some Germans and South Africans with 5,000 people. And this was my first encounter where I heard also the testimonies of survivors. And immediately after this conference, it was now nearly 25 years ago, I started to support Rwandans from Germany, first with a small circle of friends, and later with some other organizations, and since 6 years with Denise's organization. And much later, I met my dear wife, Denise, who is also German now. She has a double citizenship. And so we are two Germans now.
Okay.
And I have not written my own book on Rwanda. I helped Denise to write her two books, but I have translated or have edited a Rwandan book by my friend, Dr. Antoine Rutayzire, who also was with me in Germany several times. And I've organized many tours of Rwandan survivors in Germany, mainly to the big commemoration years. 2004, 2009, 2014, 2019. And but my main work is for Rwanda since nearly 24 years now.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the panelists. And the author, Madame Denise.
Thank you very much. My name is Sakina Denise Uwimana-Reinhardt. I'm mother of 3 sons. I'm author of the book From Red Earth, a Rwandan story of healing and forgiveness. I'm here in Germany 5 years, but I used to travel to Rwanda every year. And I am also a founder of an organization called the Iriba Shalom International. So I'm privileged also to be with you today, especially that yesterday and today it is my private family commemoration days where we remember our beloved one who was killed. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you all for the introduction. Then our new face also today, we have Mr. Arthemon. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arthemon Rurangwa, but you can call me Art. Everybody here in Canada, they call me Art. They're too lazy to pronounce my full name. So I'm okay. You can use it also. I don't mind really.
Thank you. I'll be calling you Art.
Okay. Like you, I'm gonna be calling you Kid. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I was born and raised in Rwanda, and I moved to Canada since 1994, and I live now in the west of Canada. I don't know if you know, Canada is a very cold country. It's a huge, about 600 times bigger than Rwanda. And the province we live in here in the west, in the city of Edmonton, in the province of Alberta. Even this province itself is maybe 25 bigger than Rwanda itself. So we're gonna improve as we go. I'm here for more than 25 years. And I just published the book, and maybe you saw it. It's in French. Here is the book. I don't know if you see it.
Yes, you can see it clearly.
Okay. Now is out now since last November. Is probably going to get a chance to talk about today. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Arthur. And last but not least, we shall introduce the author of the day. The reason, the person who is behind all of us being here today, it's part of our book tour. The reason we're also doing it online today is because of the COVID rules and regulation. We couldn't be in person, but today was supposed to be a live event at Austin, Texas. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce the main author, the one we are here. Aline, Mama, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself to your people.
Hi, my name is Aline Umutoni. I am 32 years old. I am originally from Rwanda. I am a genocide survivor of the genocide against Tutsis of 1994. It's an honor and a privilege to have a panel like this. I've always dreamt to be surrounded by generations, and it's a dream come true being able to hear people's perspective about the genocide, of people of different generations, that people that are older than me, that knew more in the history. So it's very humbling to have everybody here. So thank you for having me. So this is my book. It is my book, From Bondage to Freedom. I wrote this book I released it in 2019. I don't know if you can see it.
You can see.
So yes, so I was supposed to be in Austin, Texas, like he said, because of COVID. Many people could not. Many people in this panel are not able to be in America for this event, so we decided to do it live. So my apology for the people in Austin, but you will have us by God's grace soon. And if you would like to purchase a book for this weekend, because we're supposed to be in your area, for the people of Austin, instead of $20 for a signed copy, you will have it for $15. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Aline, for that brief introduction. And for the rest of my panelists, karibu. It's Swahili for welcome to the panelists. I'm really happy that you guys took time out of your busy schedule to talk about our topic today. The topic is basically the road to healing. And I think it is one of those easier said than done. I know I sound like a record label putting it that way, but most of us, we are normally in a path towards healing. But for my panelists, all of them have gone through something very different in their life. And I would really like to ask some few things as we go along. Now, the first question will go to, he told me it's okay, it's cool for him, we are cool like that, I can call him Art. So my first question is to Art. And as for most of our viewers, we're in that position in our life, there's everything. Oh, hold on a bit. I think I've been joined by a panelist. She's better late than never, Honorable Auntie Harriet. Please do a quick introduction before we continue. Hi, everybody. Auntie Harriet, please.
I can see my friends, Wolfgang and Denise. How are you?
Mr. The Wolfgang, you need to unmute your mic.
I'm very pleased. I'm very happy to see Wolfgang and Denise. Please, how are you?
They are fine. Their mic is on mute. Mr. Wolfgang, your mic is on mute.
Let them,
Denise,
yes. Tell them to unmute.
Denise, unmute your mic. You are giving us wisdom, but we can't hear you. Your mic is on mute. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah. I saw. Okay. You have to unmute, yes. Okay. I said already that you have been in our house during our big tour in Germany. I think it was in 2004 when you joined our group, and we were in Berlin and many other towns in Germany. I was so happy. Besides, by the way, did you receive my emails the last years?
Yeah, so first of all, let me greet you in the name of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Amen.
Wolfgang and Denise, how are you? I'm pleased, I'm glad to meet you here on this platform.
Yes.
Wonderful. We too.
Wonderful.
We're
How are
happy.
you? It has been
Yes, it has been a long time. Maybe when I come back in Rwanda, we'll see us. So we have many things to talk, we shared many things, already.
You always come back. You always come back and you don't say hello to me.
I need to call my meeting in order.
You know why, but I hope when I come back to next year, this year already, I will come.
Okay, guys.
Okay,
guys. We need to go back to the topic at hand.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr.
Moderator.
Yes, auntie.
Excuse me. I'm just here to say hello to everybody.
Yes.
I'm glad to receive also Arthemon, Rurangwa. How are you? Uraho neza? Amakuru ni meza yanyu.
Ni meza.
Turakwakiriye nuko mwaje ndwaye ndacyafite intege nke.
It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay. Ukuboko kuracyabyimbye, umutwe ni gahoro ariko birimo biraza ntawe ejo bundi n'ejo byari bimeze nabi.
Oh, okay.
Hormisdas, uraho, hobe.
Muraho honorable, comment ça va?
Amakuru.
Ni meza cyane, ni meza.
Nari nishimiye kubana namwe hano, ubu narinzanye no gusuhuza Aline. How are you?
Aline, your auntie saying, Aline, unmute your mic.
Josiane, how are you?
I'm sorry. I miss you, Auntie.
Aline, muraho.
Aline also.
Thank you.
Yes.
Josiane, uraho.
Hi, Auntie. How are you?
Fine. Fine. How are you? Thank you. Eh?
Warubukira.
Yes. Thank you. Larissa, how are you? Where is she? Larissa, I've been. Where is Larissa? How are you?
I'm here. Hi, how are you?
Uraho neza.
Man, is she who
I'm
was
so
she?
sorry, my connection just
Amen.
went away. So I want to say
It's
hi,
okay, it's okay.
Auntie. We are praying for you and hope you are feeling better.
Okay, thank you. Let me please. How are you also, Kenny? How are you? Moderator?
I'm fine, Auntie. As usual, the floor is always yours. I'm very fine, thank you.
Thank you. So I am very happy to receive, and I welcome you, Mr. Wolfgang and Denise. I welcome Arthemon, even you, Hormisdas.
Hormisdas,
Today,
yeah.
Hormisdas, I
Thank
think
you.
today the network is okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay with my internet. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
I will just meet you on YouTube, but not today. I won't be with you. I'm very sorry.
Oh, it's okay,
Thank you
Auntie.
very
It's okay,
much.
Auntie.
Yes.
I hope we won't miss you anymore. For
Yes, we will.
Wolfgang and Arthemon, I think you will be with us every time on this platform.
I will be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Auntie.
Love you all. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
bye. Bye.
Bye.
God
Bye.
bless you.
Thank you.
I
God
love
bless
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Love you too.
We love you too.
Yeah, oh, sorry about that. Auntie was not feeling well, so she just had to come, join us, at least say hi before we go ahead with everything else. As usual, thank you very much, Auntie. That was Auntie Harriet. We call her Auntie because she's our auntie, but her actual name should be Honorable Sebera Harriet. She's actually is an honorable person, so we just call her Auntie out of it's an African thing. We call auntie for grown house people.
Okay.
He's back.
Thank you.
He's back.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just give it a back. Now back to the topic at hand. Now we're back to the conversation, and my question was directed to Uncle Art, and for some of my viewers, they might be going today. Our topic is about healing, and for those who don't know, a small brief about our uncle Art during the genocide of '94. He lost everybody. He's actually the surviving member of his family. Everybody who he was born with, the people he grew up with, they all perish. And for some of us, we might be just, let's say, just losing. We just probably lost a recent relative, maybe just one person. And I'm really curious to know what really helped you as a person to heal after that serious trauma. How were you able to handle that grief? And what is it that you can advise somebody right now who's going through a similar kind of grief where they have lost their family? Maybe it's with accident, maybe nowadays they have something like chronic diseases like cancer and everything. What is it that you as a person that really helped you with your grief? What is it that you can advise such a person?
Yeah. Maybe I'm gonna start by asking you how much time you gave me, because when I start talking, I never stop.
I like the honesty there. So let's do let's do 3 to 5 minutes. Is that fair enough to answer the question?
Yeah, about about healing the process. Exact. Can you repeat the real question for me?
Yeah, for somebody like you during the genocide of '94 against the Tutsi, you lost your whole family members, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as a surviving member, there was grief in your life. So I'm looking to somebody like Ken right now who's going through grief and really want to know what is it that you did that helped you go through the grief of losing your family? What is it that you can advise that really worked out for you?
Yeah. Okay, it's a heavy and huge question, and I don't believe anyone can find the right answer to that question,
Mm-hmm.
because it varies from people to people. But when something like that happens in your life, as I told you before in previous meeting, I went through everything since 60s, because the genocide did not happen overnight in the night of April 7th or 6th. It started long ago, and I went through all of that. What you saw, you guys, the young generation, was just the end of it, the final stage of the process, because the genocide is a long process. It starts by people who prepare for it, and the next step is the execution of the genocide. And the third one is the denial, which is the time we are living in now. Back to your question, in 1994, I was lucky enough to be free out of a country on the day the genocide started, because I was informed of people were about to kill me, and I stepped out. And I was out with my little family, meaning my wife and my 2 kids. But the rest of my family did not get the same chance. They all perished in that genocide. I don't know if we have been in Rwanda, but back in the time, people lived in one village, meaning the close family, cousins, or extended family, they lived together. And actually, they all died together. They have been all killed. And the grief I grew up with, because I stepped in Burundi for 2 years or so. After that, I came to Canada. And the grief was so heavy. It's a lifetime process. You cannot say tomorrow I'm gonna be okay or next year I'm gonna be fine. No. You live it as the day goes on. Every day you live one day after another. You don't know what it brings the next day. But you manage to go through. I can't believe I was saved by, as I told you guys this morning, maybe Ken was not here, and the family of Wolfgang either were not there. I started writing a blog, and I was actually putting on a blog everything passing by my mind, complaining, trying to support other people who are grieving like me. That's why I end up writing a book. And the book I wrote was about all that process, because I know many people, even today, cannot still talk about what happened, especially the women who have been raped, because for them it was a double horror. They suffered from the genocide, but on the top of it, they suffered from the rape also. And as no one was talking about it. So far, maybe I'm going to stop there, and they're going to continue after that.
Okay, thank you and thank you for that brief answer. I'm really thankful for that. I'll ask the same question. I'll send the same question to Denise. I had a chance to read your book. At least it was a snip, the one that was shared. And for those who don't know about Denise, when 94 was there, it was a normal day for her in the morning. She started a normal day in the morning where she was just sitting at everything. That's April 7th. Then the events after that one led to the loss of her first husband. And lucky, at least I've seen she's in another stage in her life. But Denise, I would really be curious to know, how did you handle your grief, and what is it that you can tell somebody who's struggling to grieve? What is it you can actually tell them that will have them in the healing path?
Thank you. First, I want to say that was born in Burundi because my parents fled from 16. They went to Burundi. I grew up in Congo, and later I came back to Rwanda to get married. For me, it was not easy, the process of healing, because I lost my husband when I was still very young. I was 29 years old, and I never expect that I can become a widow. Even in my suffering, it didn't start in 1994. My suffering started already when my husband was put into prison in October 1990. There, just one night, when they took him to the prison, I had to think a lot because I have never suffered from a childhood. I was grown up very well in a very well family, and just one night, I thought a lot, and I started to have a stomach problem, a suffering, and then I could not feel well in my body, and even when my husband was released from the prison, we could not live together. He used to come over at night and go again, night and go again. So it was very hard for me. And in 1994, what can I say? It was very hard because I have a package from 1990 to 4 years to 1994. 4 years I was always suffering. So after the genocide, when I survived, I was really traumatized. Even to touch my body, I did not feel that I'm still alive. But how I come to the process of healing, I was in the village in Bugarama, because my husband, I worked in a cement company, Simerwa, we called it Ciment du Rwanda. We survived, and then we met as widows night, because we had a fear to meet during the day. We were always thinking that the killers will come and kill us again, because they used even to come from Burundi and to Congo to attack and to kill again the Tutsi. So we met the night, and there we started just to talk every kind of things, to talk, to exchange. We were small groups of widows in the village. There I started to talk, to exchange, to talk. And also, for me, first I was thinking that I was the one who suffered a lot than others. But when I met my colleagues and we started to exchange our suffering, then I discovered, oh my God. So it was a very, very deep to hear, and how my colleagues were raped and all kinds of suffering, no children. I survived. I could have even my children, but I decided for me to say, no, I should do something. I should start also to help others. But time, and even when I was still even traumatized, for me, I used even to meet my scholar just to sit together, to listen what she's telling me. And then it helped me and it helped them. So my healing process, it's still, of course, as my colleague said, we cannot say that it stopped. Even now, we are still in the healing process. And another things which helped me, it's the morning time in Rwanda. These things, for me, it helps a lot, because we used to meet with other widows, even to cry, to talk, to help each other, to encourage each other. It was a process for me which helped me until now. I told you I have an organization which helped others. It's a healing process. Always, even when I go to Rwanda, I'm a healing process. We talk, we help each other, we see Denise. needs of others, widows or orphans. It's things which I'm still doing, but I'm happy that I could do it. And things which help me also it's to get back my dignity that I lost during the genocide against the Tutsi. Now I have my dignity. I became a human being. I'm not no more crocodiles or snakes. They used to call me when I was in Simerwa. So let me stop by this. But it's a process, and I'm happy that at right way.
Thank you for that. I had a lot of things, and it was very nice. At least you had mentioned that you had a support of your friends. At least having discussing with the women, the widows, they really helped you to heal. And one of my panelists here, Josiane, when when Denise was talking about how what helped her healing was sharing with people, talking to a lot of somebody who has gone through it. For Uncle Art was more of about writing it down, putting it total there. They both agree that they haven't. It is a journey, the way they put it. I'm curious to know, was it a similar part for you? Because for you, first you lost your family member, then second years later you went through a loss of a spouse, not by death, of course, by a divorce. So, what is it that you can tell somebody who is in a similar situation? The first draw, you're losing family. The second one, you are losing family again. You see, what is it that you can tell them that really helps you to heal? Or are you like, I understand the healing is a journey, but in your journey part, what is it that you have picked up along the way that you feel is really good to somebody?
Thank you, Ken. So as you say, the healing is a journey indeed. And my journey, okay, Rwandese, we have passed a lot. Even maybe I can share one example I wrote in my book about I have met one girl, is a woman. So during the genocide, she was like a teenager. So she has been left together with her mother. Herself, yeah, managed to survive. Her mother passed away. So, and then she left out with a pregnancy and the HIV positive.
Okay.
So when we are talking about healing, is when I say that I'm healed because I have God, the one who is giving me the grace to forgive, because I'm still alive. There is a mission I have to accomplish. But when you are in front of such a person, you are just lost the words to tell them. Is where I'm coming back to my theory. Healing is a process, and only the maker of the heart is the one who has the last word. We don't have anything to comfort what Rwandese have been passing through. Imagine that mother, she has a child of the perpetrators of his family. She has left with HIV. She has been seeing how they raped her mother and herself the same time. So that is terrible thing. And you left with the HIV positive. So when you are in front of such a person, yourself as human being, you don't know how to tell, please forgive them, get comfort, is where I say at that stage, it will come back to the maker of the heart. Maker of the heart, the one who created you. He's the one who has the last word to heal you. Is a lot what we have been passing through. So what I can encourage people, what I tell people, just go back to the road. He's the one. He's the one who can comfort you, who can help you to forgive, who can help you to be healed. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a bit new to something you've said is really a bit, it's heavy. It's really heavy. And Uh, she mentioned about somebody being abused, and Larissa, what is it, as a survivor, what is it that you can tell somebody who has been abused by somebody closest to them? What is it that you can tell them that I honestly don't know how to phrase this question. As in, uh, help me out, please. As in, what is it that for somebody who is going through the journey? Josiane has talked about the maker of the heart. She was referring to whoever you believe spiritually. Your Lord and your maker. You should start with them. What is it that you can tell somebody who is going through that? Is it the same advice you have, Larissa?
Um, Thank you. It is the same. We all need God because without God we cannot make it. Human being, there is where they can't, your friends, your people can't reach, and sometimes they are also turned against you by the devil. So, as healing is the process, the first thing you have to understand is that it's possible. You allow God to come in your life because He can't force you. He can't take you by force. So you have to allow Him to come and help you out as we move on, as you accept it. Still, I've seen, I was telling you before that, as you move in that journey, people keep on throwing stones on you again. The time you think I've reached somewhere, you find yourself again back, again feeling vulnerable. But what I can say now is that accept it's possible, allow God to help you. He will make it because we can't move. He can't help us the same because we are also different. But it's possible. You can also move on. Maybe if I share on my story, for me, I thought speaking out is something. Still, it's an achievement. I think I thought it was healing. I thought it was good. I thought I've reached somewhere, but when I shared, I thought I've reached somewhere, and people started talking, backbiting, challenging, saying it's a lie. I felt bad. I thought, how can someone say this? So I went back to my normal pain, thinking why people can reject you when you're trying to come out. They can't even help you. They just want to take you back. But on the journey, there will be still many difficulties and challenges, but we can still make it. Understand it's possible. Allow God to help you out. No one else can help you. Your parents can't. Your friends can't. You yourself, you can't. However much you can stand, you can try to stand up to always be hard, but God can do it because He's the one who can deal with your wound, internal wound, which is hidden from all of us. So I can tell a person it's possible, allow it, accept it, and sometimes we try to say, it didn't happen. I accept that happened, feel your wound, and give it to Jesus. Because when you try to pretend, that's when your wound will not be healed. So healing is a process. You always face other giants in the road, but it's possible, and only God and God can help you out. Thank you.
Thank you, Larissa, for those encouraging words. Aline, I see you're lost in thought. We are talking about abuse, and if somebody, if you have had a chance to look at Aline's book, she is also a survivor of abuse, rape abuse, and when Larissa said, when you come out and speak the truth, people actually now doubt that they actually call you a liar, and everybody, the way Larissa has put it very well, that everybody tells you that if you start speaking, it's the first step to your healing. Now you're in this journey of healing where you are putting it out there that this happened to me. I'm trying to forgive this person so that I can go towards healing. What will you tell somebody? Has Because even in your book you've made it clear that you you were abused, And when you spoke out, even to this day, somebody still says that this did not happen. As a survivor of rape abuse, and somebody is really trying, because you see, we say everybody tells people to speak up. Say that speak out, do not keep it down. It's part of the, even if you go to anyone who will advise you, it's the first thing you have to say it out loud. What is it that you can tell? Earlier, I think was it yesterday, I was talking to Uncle Art, and he had mentioned that we in this African society where you cannot speak about it. If you actually are abused, you're supposed to keep it in house among family. You're not supposed to broadcast it to the rest of the other people. And these are the people who actually did do it to you. So, what is it that you can tell somebody who's trying to find their healing path, and they cannot share out? They cannot share whatever has gone through them.
First of all, I just like the genocide has deniers, and they always say deniers precedes genocide. When you come out of abuse, there will always be deniers. The perpetrator will always deny their action, just like the genocide have deniers, and the deniers are the perpetrators. So I would say, for me, my case is very similar to Larissa. I was abused at the age of 16 by my uncle, by my relative, for 3 years. And I escaped that abuse. And when I escaped the abuse, I thought that I was out and I was going to start healing. I thought that it was going to be a moment where my family would finally understand that something bad had happened to me. And even if they were not there when it happened, they could actually be there for me in the process of my healing. But some of them were there. I can attest that some of them supported me in a way that they could. However, they just didn't want me to share my story. They just wanted me to keep it within the family. They just didn't want me to say, because they were more concerned about the name of the family more than the healing and the pain that I've been through. So they were even more concerned about the image of what my family name will have than the pain that I encountered. So I had to get to a place. I was silent for 22 years, okay? Then I came out of the abuse in 2011, okay? I came out of the house of oppression in 2011, started walking my walk of healings, okay? But I was still silent, because they would tell me, we understand what happened to you is very bad, but what happened in the family stays in the family. You have to keep it within the house, blah blah blah. And I was like, but how will I heal if I keep it within myself? It's like telling somebody, don't exteriorize your pain, keep it within, keep it from within. But how will you have a testimony if you don't share your testimony? So me sharing my testimony made me an enemy to my loved ones. And it's not even that enough. Some of them went even to the point of saying that I lied that it happened. Okay. And as a survivor, either genocide or abuse, or any kind of survivor, it destroys a victim when nobody believes you, because somebody took your innocence and nobody believes you, and they are denying, just like people are denying that there is a genocide when I don't even know where my dad is. How can people have that gut to say there is no genocide where I don't have the remaining of my dad to even give him a proper burial? So if we have to talk about healing, it's complicated, because how can you fully heal when you are surrounded by people that, number one, are denying the fact that anything happened. Number two, they are trying to silence your voice and not allowing you to speak loud. So if there's anything I can tell any survivor, I'm talking now to genocide survivor, abuse survivor, any kind of survivor, speak out. speak out. Let me be honest. Be fearless, because at the end of the day, what do you have to lose? In my case, I've lost so much in my life that I have nothing else to lose. I have nothing else to lose. And that's what I keep on saying in all my interview. If I have to give my all for the truth to come out, so be it. Because you get to a place where you become somebody who is dead but alive. Because the Bible says those who will keep their life will lose it, and those who will lose their life will gain it. I think I lost my life because I am not there. I am not afraid of death, because they tried to kill me and they're still trying and they can't, because my life is hidden in Christ. So I think if I have to talk to any survivor, the only way you can heal is with the Maker, with Christ. Because I can assure you that if I didn't have Jesus Christ as my Savior, I would have gone mad, crazy. You can imagine watching your father, your hero, being killed at the age of 5, and at the age of 11 losing your one and only person in the world who loved you and cherished you and told you everything about your dad. Now she dies at the age of 11. At the age of 16, you are sexually abused for 3 years. Imagine how it does to a child, the kind of trauma that you go through, without counting the fact that I had to go through PTSD after the genocide. From the age of 5 to the age of 12, I couldn't sleep at night. I had nightmares. So add all this up and imagine how kind of a messed up I was. So if it wasn't for the grace of God, I would tell you, I would have never forgiven my perpetrators. I would have never forgiven the people that killed my father. I would have never been even able to speak. I would have never been able to write a book. I would have never been able to breathe, because I've been through an unbearable kind of trauma. So I think for every survivor, speak. Don't let anybody stop you. And I'm telling you, if they have to leave, let them go. Just let them go. Let them go. Move on. God will provide a father. God will provide a mother. God will provide a sister. God will provide a brother. The Bible says in Mark chapter 10 that if you lose your mother, your father, your sister because of me, you will have mothers, fathers, sisters. I can promise you, I've lost many family members that I don't talk to, but I've gained so many fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers with persecution, but I'm still living. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Aline brought up something about people denying. I know, Uncle Art, in your book, you were writing about rape and you did a lot of research while you're doing your book. What is it that you've actually learned through these people about healing that you feel you can share that was really helping them when you are doing your research for your book?
Yeah, I was listening to Aline, what she was actually sharing, because I believe, honestly, I believe you guys, women, you are very strong people. I can't believe when I heard the interview from Aline the first time. I usually almost never cry, but I cried. Because I managed to find her phone number and talk to her on the phone. As I told you before, my book is called Les Angoisses d'Adelaide, which, if I try to translate in English, would mean the anger of Adelaide. Adelaide is the name.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Aline was trying to explain. But there is one thing you need to remember, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Culture is something extremely strong, more than we think. Mm-hmm. It takes a special power like Aline has in herself to come out and speak out. Because I know many women in Rwanda who went through that stupidity of raping used as a tool of genocide. And even today, 27 years later, they cannot still dare to talk. And there is no way, if we want to talk about healing, if you do not speak out, you will never heal. You will never be healed. That's the one way step out. But it's not easy. It's not as easy as we think it should be. What we do though is writing and speaking out like Aline did. Last week here in Edmonton, we had what we call vigil. Donc, we have an overnight people throwing out testimonies, and we have invited somebody from New York. Maybe some of you may know her. Her name is Konso. Konso went exactly through think of the raping, collective rape, and she ended up having AIDS also. But when you hear her talking with that power, you cry. Because she now said, even if I'm now living with AIDS and whatever trauma I went through, I'm powerful now because I have the word in my mouth. And I published a book, and people are reading what happened to me. That's the power. That's how I agree with Aline. The only way out is to speak. But I cannot even forget the power of the cultural heritage we have in us. Tutsi women or Rwandan in general, they are stuck in the culture.
Okay.
It's not easy. Our generation may be the next one. If we remember, the genocide against the Jewish people happened 75 years ago. And we still have people, not many left who went through, but some are, maybe less than 10 people left now. And I heard one saying he was able to speak out 60 years later. 60. That's unbelievable. Now, we have in Rwanda now some people who come up and speak in public, but you should be sitting in the audience to hear how they say it. They say it which way? In Rwanda is a very complicated language. When they get somebody to sit and talk what happened, here most of them hear what they say. Nuko baramfashe bankorera ibyamfuramye. That's easy. That's it. They cannot come up and explain exactly what happened. And if you are in front of the judge in the court, for example, you cannot tell the judge, baraje bankorera ibyamfuramye. That means what in the eyes of the judge? Nothing. Nothing at all. Because they cannot dare speak out and say things in their own names. That's why in my book, this young lady I used as a it happened. I know my book is a fiction actually. It's not a testimony. That's a big difference. Why many people keep asking me why actually you made your book a fiction? Why the story is real? I say I don't want this to belong to one person. I really need this story be owned by everybody who experienced this kind of stuff. And that is happening actually. Because everybody, any woman who read the book and who experienced this, I am now having some calls from around the world, from France, from Switzerland, from everywhere. They want to talk to me. And when they talk to me, they all say the same thing, even they don't know each other. They ask me, who are you? How do you know me? She no, I don't know you. Yes, they say, no, you know me because you wrote about my story. Yeah, your story, that's actually my huge satisfaction. When I hear somebody telling me from Switzerland, from Holland, from saying, no, this story belongs to me. That's why I made it a fiction. If it was a testimony, it would belong only to one person.
Okay.
But I wanted these women to who read this book, who went through this stuff, be encouraged to speak out as it was insisting Aline. That's only way out. And I wish it was in English. I could read you some paragraphs where this young woman was, because she was raped for the. You remember the genocide stayed 100 days,
Yes.
and the young lady was 7 years of age. Her mother was raped in front of her before they killed her, and then she, after the death of her dad, the mother, and brothers and sisters, that was her to be raped for 3 months. And she grew up with that anger. She grew up in the United States until she came back to Rwanda now, where she lives, according to my fiction. Now she's okay because she spoke out. That's only way out. Thank you.
Okay. When Uncle Art was speaking about the importance of having, he actually put it like he said for his book, he changed it into a fiction so that he can be able at least, so that if it doesn't become a testimony and somebody can relate. Denise, I want to ask you a question. You also run a foundation that is really helping people. Even your own book is called Forgiveness and Healing. Uh, was this the reason why you wanted to include a lot of people in your foundation, so that if you were many, it will make the healing journey easier
Will
as a
you repeat
support
again?
group as for your foundation?
Yeah.
You say you have a foundation that works with widows and orphans, right?
Yes.
And while Uncle Art was speaking, he mentioned the fact that it's sadly enough, he actually, the term he uses actually, there was some stupidity about this action. So I wanted to ask you, for your case, the reason you had widows and orphans all together in a foundation, were you trying to create a support group that at least will help people to heal? Because you mentioned earlier that when you are doing for you, what really helped you was when you were meeting people, when you were talking about everything, and you could talk about everything and nothing, the pain and everything like that. Was that the ideology behind your foundation?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. My work, when we survived after genocide, we lived in loneliness. That means everyone wanted to stay alone, and we thought that all people hate us, no one love us. And in order to help us, each other, myself and other widows and orphans, to get out from loneliness, so we started to be together, to come together in a community, in approach community, to see how we can support each other. And even, after the genocide, we lost even the envy to work again, because we want to say, why, for what I will work? For I do not have a child, I do not have a husband, for what I can again wear such nice clothes. So we lost hope. We are like in darkness, no hopeless. And to come together, it helped us and even to know the needs which was among us, and also to see how we could help each other. So this also helped to identify also, for example, the widows or women who were raped. For me, I was even in charge to travel all over the country in Rwanda to identify, to meet the survivors, even to welcome them in the community and to listen to them and to see how their needs could be supported. So when we meet together, really, it is a way first to talk each other, from widows, from orphans, not only to talk, even to make some project to see what they need, because we want to, again, to help people to use again their talent, to come out of poverty, to see how they can also build again their life, to show them that they are able also to do something. Because I'm telling you the truth, it is still a process, but we came in a world, what can I say, it's hell, darkness, as I don't know how we can explain what happened in the genocide, but it's very, very hard. So to come out in this, to have envy, to work again, to even to laugh, so it's even to pray together. My colleagues speak about praying. I did not speak about for the first time that, but in people with whom we met together, they said, for what? We do not have any envy to go in the church because the pastors betrayed us. Myself, my pastor betrayed me, or others betrayed me. But when we met each other, we trust each other first. We said, oh, now we can make together, we can trust each other. We spoke, but slowly. I'm telling you, for me, when I started my work with widows in the village there, I have never spoke about the word forgiveness, because I know if I spoke about forgiveness the first time, I will lose everyone. But I show them the value, that they are valuable people. That's the best is coming, so they can work again. If you see me wearing like this clothes, it's an example, really. It is a testimony also. For example, I met a widow who were raped, lost her husband, and I met her when she was telling me, now, Denise, I'm going to die. Why are you going to die? My husband died, we survived, but my husband died with HIV. I'm HIV also positive. I'm going to die. But I took her hand together. I said, come, meet me, come. And I invite her in a group of widows, only HIV, so that they can exchange together. And I invite her, and she came she experienced the testimony of others. She saw how she was welcomed with love, and also she saw that she's welcomed with love, and again she can also have a word, because she was thinking she's going to die. But we prayed together. I could share with her food. Sometimes I invite her in my house, and then once, I'm telling you, once so I make it short. When I wanted to remarry again with my husband, she told me, Denise, I want to give you a present. Then I said, what kind of a present you want to give me? She told me, I am a tailor. Are you a tailor? Yes, I am a tailor. What? And please buy a stuff, and I can make you a clothes of a dress photo. And then we went together, because I trust, really, went together in the shop. We buy a stuff, and then he made me such a nice clothes. Can you imagine?
Wow.
But she makes such a nice clothes for me, and I could not imagine, because when I met her, she was telling me she's going to die. But today, the one I'm telling you about, she's a very strong woman. She's the one who is helping. When I'm coming to Rwanda, we go together on field.
Amen.
We support. She make even Bible study, Bible schools.
4 years.
4 years. Mother of 5 children. She said, Denise, I'm going. I don't lose the chance I got from God. Now I will not no more died. I want to do something, and I want to be skilled, not only go on field. I want I want to show, to give to people not only external beauty. I'm like I did, but even inner beauty. And to have the broken heart again to get hope. She surprised me, and this is also the way we are helping people in the community. When I'm in Rwanda, I'm telling you, I did not have money or nothing, just my time, my love to them. I go in the field, work together in the field in Rwanda. Ulinga, if people not in Rwanda who will listen to us, I'm going, I work with them, I stay with them, we pray, we cry. But then I gain the trust. And once I failed to ask them, once it was in the period of commemoration day, not another day, I failed to ask them who was able to forgive. Oh, then many show raise the hands. Me, really? And one woman said, Denise, not only to forgive, I make even reconciliation. What have you done? Iriba Shalom. Since the work name is Iriba, the source of peace, of a fountain of peace. And then she thought, even I did the reconciliation. I'm telling you, I could not believe this. Then I told her, I'm going back to. If in this book you will see the example, I told her I'm going back to Germany. I will come back. Please, when I come back, bring this man, the one who you make reconciliation with him. And when I went back, of course, I listened to the testimony of Council and Emmanuel. Really, it was a pure, really forgiveness and reconciliation. And she told me when I came, I started to come in Iriba Shalom in the community, right? In this where we met together. This is this women when they rose their hands, and then I start to feel inside to be released from hate, released from anger. I start to feel peace. I was praying, and it was like Iriba Shalom. This work here was prepared me. Many of them could go to the church, but they come to Iriba Shalom. They could pray there, and then they said to get peace. And when this man came from the prison to the Gachacha trial, I was already to forgive him. And when even him came to me, he told me the truth. That means the truth also helped also people to get healed. If the killer tell the truth, it helped also the victims also to heal. So this is the way we helped in my work there. And also it's a process, and I heard you saying that Rwandan also do not speak. It's a culture, really, what happened to them. It is true, because I'm still dealing when we are in the village. We are still dealing in Rwanda that women can talk. Till now, there are many really who have never been ready to speak about what happened. When I was in Rwanda, before I get married, I was working in the project to collect a testimony of only women who were raped. This is the book, The Man Who Killed Me. I met many I record many testimony. I'm telling you, before I record the testimony, I must pray to get inner strength, because to listen to the testimony, what happened to these women, it was terrible. So for me, I love them. I don't know how I can tell you. It's everyone should love the women who are raped, because they suffer every day. They must take the RV, the tablet to every day, you know. Only the grace of God can help them. And also, even we listen to the such young, I have an example of a young daughter who was also raped. Example, really, I know I have many examples. Even a man, a young boy, not only girls, even a young boy, when I was making individual counseling, he came to me, she told me, oh, sorry, he came to me, told me, you know, when I was hidden in the house, a woman who had me was always raping me. Not only this, women in the place where I was raped by French soldiers. So got many testimonies. So really, we still have many things to do in Rwanda. Process. Please, people who are listening to the testimony, to our interview, please help Rwanda. Even when I got the opportunity to visit United Nations, I was very angry to them. I know what happened. They left us. They have never helped us. I wrote in the book of guests, please support widows who are women who were raped, suffered by HB every day. So please, everyone who are listening to us, support survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi. 27 years is still is nothing. Even the deniers, they do not have nothing to tell before me, because I'm a witness. I have seen what they have done. Aline, as a child, saw what happens to her papa, what she experienced when she was 16 years. How can we say that there were no genocide or double genocide? This is very wrong, very wrong. So I'm a witness to tell this. So we helped in the community. We still do this in the process, and we are not experienced, but we try what we can do, and we invite everyone to come to join us, to build Rwanda, and to support survivors.
Thank you, Denise. I want to switch and talk to Mr. Hormisdas. Today, this road to healing is really a serious road, by the way. It is not an easy road either. Mr. Hormisdas, you have a book. It's called The Heritage. It's called The Heritage from My Father, and the beauty about the book, it really talks to, yes, that's the book. Let me just hold it on, just hold it up a bit, so I can put you on full screen so that people can see the book. The Heritage to My Father, Mr. Hormisdas, you talked about the importance of gratitude and everything like that. When the genocide happened, you are away from home. You are not with your family, and you end up losing most of them. I'm very curious to know, for somebody who is really going through something and they are not there and they cannot help their family and they feel very hopeless, they feel very helpless. What is it that, after it has happened, what is it that helped you survive that one, helped you start your journey towards healing? And what is it you can tell somebody who's going through something and they were not able there, and they were not there when it happened, but it really affected them even years afterwards? What is your advice towards them, Mr. Hormisdas?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But first of all, I thank Aline who give us this time to share our stories, because sharing our stories is also a kind of healing.
Okay.
So thank you very much for Aline. So about my my process, healing is a process, and in my book, A Heritage from Father, fortunately, my father, before to be killed in 1994, I was killed with my mother, with 6 brothers and sisters. So it was very, very hard. But I remember genocide didn't start in 1994 because in 1959, in 1963, my father survived because that period there was persecution against the Tutsi, and in 1963 they talk about the genocide, a literal genocide in Rwanda, because they killed many people in Rwanda in 1963. It is the year of my birth. So, and when I was born, my father gave me a name of gratitude, Ndayishimiye, meaning I thank God. So, because he was alive, he was survived. For him to be alive in that period is a great gift. Yeah, is a great gift from God, because men were killed. And 1959, 1963, 1973, and also my family was persecuted, and in 1994, so my family was killed. But it was very hard for me. I was in Italy, but it was very, very hard. The process about the healing, the process was very, very long, but with that this heritage from father, because I am agree with most of you, with Aline, who talked about the faith. For me, without the faith, it is impossible to healing is not easy. Yeah, I used those values to start my healing, because I was alive. To be alive when many people were killed is a gift. I was alive, and I survived. So for me, I start with, yes, gratitude, because I was alive. And gratitude is about the gift. Yes. I was privileged, and because I was alive, and I start to reflect on my life, because I was alive, and I feel I started to write, because writing also is a kind of healing. I started writing my book. I started to think about telling the story, because telling the truth is also a kind of healing. So little by little, I wrote my book. I think about telling the story, but also with God's help, because faith is obedience, is confidence in God. And for me, God is my giver. I am a receiver, but God is my giver. So I started to fight the hatred, because my God, my giver, asked me to fight the hatred, because after the genocide, I was very bad, and I have a resentment, I have a hatred. So when I find that the God, my giver, asked me to fight against the resentment, to fight against the hatred, I had to do that. And little by little, I find that I will continue to obey to my God, to make confidence in my God. And my God asked us to forgive. I began to think about the forgiveness. The forgiveness also is a gift, because it's about to lie a heavy thing. So little by little, I continue to take the healing, that process about the healing, but the values which helped me, the point from which I begin my positive thing is faith, is gratitude, and is the truth, telling the truth about my family, writing the person, my personal narrative also is a kind of healing. And I think I continue to share my story and continue my process, my healing process. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Hormisdas. Thank you very much. And you are talking about the importance of sharing your story. With us in our panelists, we have a blogger, Larissa. You do videos where you share your personal story to people, and there's something you and Aline have said that people still doubt and everything that one. But I want somebody who's thinking about doing the video. You see, everybody, the blessed that my panelists here are really blessed. Most of them are writers. Actually, literally everybody is a writer. We have actually literally everybody is a writer. I think I'm the only who's not a writer yet. So for my panelists, most of them are writers. Larissa, your path was a bit different. You decided to do a YouTube channel where you are talking about your story and everything like that one. For those who don't know, Larissa has a YouTube. It's called BAHO with Larissa, where she talks about her healing journey and stuff like that. Larissa, what is it that you can tell somebody who is having a hard time telling their stories and looking for the right path? What helped you to understand that YouTube will be a good place for you to start with sharing your story in healing? What is it you can advise a Ken somewhere, a Larissa somewhere who is stuck? They know they need to heal, and part of the healing, as our guests have said, it is that you need to start telling your story. What is it that you can tell them to find the right path for them to enable them to tell their story?
Thank you. I think everyone has a story to tell, because we are in the world and there are many difficulties, and so there is a need. There is a need to tell, because it's part of healing, as you said. So we don't need to. There is no school or no training you have to go through to share your story, because it's your story. You know it very well. The only thing you can do is to get people who can help you to film. If it comes to filming, for me, I started by telling. I say it in my story. I started by telling one person, two, three. It came to a group of people. Then the lockdown came, so I had to share. I had to continue sharing. So I had to get somewhere to tell. That's why I came out with this video documentary film, where I'm telling people to live. It's called BAHO with Larissa. Because for me, I have been fighting these recurring thoughts of this voice of this man telling me, you will die the day you will share. So I had to fight it, and God or the Holy Spirit came and He always told me, "BAHO, BAHO, live." So that is the word which came to me every day, and I found power in it. I found energy in it, and I felt it. There is a need to tell others to live BAHO because it's possible. BAHO because you have a choice to live. These people, I just wanted to encourage and challenge others to allow God to shape their life. Yeah, allow God to shape your life, because those other people, they can tamper with everything. They can destroy your life. They can try to destroy your life by telling you never come out. But God is there. God who is telling you, "Baho." God who told me to live, and I accepted to live. God was not living. I was living it was a mess actually. So I came out with this word because I found hope in God, who was telling me to live when I was not living physically. I was living. Actually, I was writing a book. My book was entitled. I don't know if I will change, but it was "Escape to Breathe."
Okay.
Escape to breathe. I'm still okay. I'm still allowing the edition, so that's why I'm saying it might be changed. But it was escape to breathe. It was like you are living. These perpetrators, these enemies can tamper with your emotions, can try to pierce your wounds, can try to do anything harmful to your body. But one thing they can never do is to stop your heart to breathe. So you can breathe. You only have to allow yourself to escape to breathe. How do we escape? We escape by telling what is untold. These untold stories. We escape by finding help. We escape by forgiving. We escape by believing God can do it and allow Him to work on our lives. So what I can tell someone, just as you have your story, mind your business. Don't hear and strive to tell the truth, and only the truth. Then you'll find people coming to help you, because God has people wherever you reach to help you in that very situation. So I found friends. Actually, it was never that expensive as I expected, because God had already prepared people to help me out. So what I can tell a person is that start by one person, make another step, tell others in that small group of people, in that school you are in that community you are in that place of work, and if possible, find a way of taking a film. It's possible. We can make it, and God is with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Larissa, for that. Well, Larissa was speaking about the importance of finding people around you that you can talk to. At least you need to start with one person, then go to another one, then go to the whole community. Then, if you get enough guts, you go live. You see, for all my panelists, have actually gone live. They actually did write down their stories. Larissa picked YouTube. Josiane, I will want to come back to you. What is it that, for part of the reason of living, there's something very Larissa really put it very well. Bao means live. You have to start living your life. You have to start living. So for somebody who's stuck, and part of the healing is basically they're trying to live. They're starting to live. What is it that you can tell them that really helped you to start living? Because for you, I know you've been in Rwanda, in a bunch of other countries, Netherlands. Now you're in Kenya. How will you tell somebody who's trying to start a fresh start somewhere as part of their healing process, as they're trying to live? What is an advice you will tell them in a new fresh start?
Thank you, Ken, for that question. I will tell them, or I will advise them, or remind them that there is a reason why we survived. When I see, my story, how I survived, I wanted to make the killers just to tire them before they kill me. I wanted that get them to be tired before they get me. So it means I left my family sitting where they were where we were instructed us to sit down. But suddenly, God's way of me surviving, I just came up with the idea. No, it's my mother who instructed us. He told us, those who can learn, just do it. And then me and my sister, we just decide to just run. For the God who wanted us to survive, imagine they didn't land behind us. You see? So then we passed through all those survivors, hiding in and there. But was just a 2 minute time for me to be alive today, because all my families were killed in just that time. So I said, it's not because I know how to run. I have done any marathon. No, I didn't do marathon before I did what I did. So if I survived in that small circumstance, is because there is a reason. I am trying. There is a purpose. There is a reason. There is a mission. I am stealing to accomplish here on earth. So I will tell that person that if you get to survive, or if you get to still be alive, try to find the reason why. There is a reason why God. There is a mission you still need to accomplish here on earth. Please find out that mission. And when God is giving you a work, He gives you the tool to do that work. God, He will restore your heart. God, He will use you. You are still valuable. You are still needed on here on earth. When I see those children God gave us, is where I say, no, God needed those children here on earth. Is maybe the reason why He didn't want me to die that time. So I will tell that person, please try to find out. There is, first of all, make sure 100% there is a mission you still need to accomplish. Secondly, try to know that mission. And if you will get to know that the mission is from above, don't worry, God will provide the healing, God will provide the healing heart, God will provide all tools. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for that. That is very well. There's something you've really put it is your mom told you to run. Like, if you guys can run, you'll be okay. Anybody who can run. For those who didn't know, for Josiane's story, the part she's referring to, I think she told you she would be in an upcoming book. During the genocide, all when the family was about to be executed, the mom actually bribed the cops and the army guys, at least gave them money so that they will not use machete on their family, rather use bullets. And that's the part she was referring to, that the mom advised her to run with the sister, and really it got her here. We are happy you ran. As people who have come to learn, you're really good that you ran. And she said there's a reason why you survived to be so long is for you have to have a purpose. You're referring, there's a purpose the Lord puts in your life. For those who are not spiritual enough, at least you all understand the importance of a purpose in your life. And Aline, for something interesting has happened. Larissa said a very interesting thing earlier, that COVID helped her be able to put her story. She still needed to share, so she decided, because of the lockdown, nothing to do, she went online. So that's how she started a YouTube video. For you, strangely enough, because of COVID and everything, we can't be live today in Austin. Now we're doing it live. Do you feel there was a purpose? Because this purpose thing is in my head, that Josiane talked about it, Ndayishimiye talked about it, the importance of purpose in your life. Do you believe it's really, if you actually look at your life and you're going through a healing journey, would, if you feel like you are still here for a purpose, do you feel like it really helps you with your healing process? Because you got all of us here, we're about 6 people here, and Harriet could not join us today. But I think we had Jean at one point. We also about in this tour, in this taxes tour, I think you've had almost 10 different people. Do you believe that purpose is really important into healing? The purpose of as an individual, let's say let me put myself as Kennedy Nkrumah myself. Do you feel like if I look at myself that way, will it really help me with my healing process? That I still have a purpose in my life.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am a fan of purpose, and I can say one of the reason why I am still breathing and I'm still having hope for tomorrow, having the sense of knowing that God God kept me alive for such a time as this is for all of you. Um, if I had died under the bed, there wouldn't be from bondage to freedom. If I had died under the bed, or if I was abused and killed, there wouldn't be a tour. Um, if there was no COVID, I would have never thought of having people from all over the world. We have Mr. Art in Canada. We have the Denise and her husband in Germany, uh, Josiane in Kenya, Larissa and Mr. Hormisdas in Kenya, and you can in Kenya. So, and me in America. So we are all over the world. Okay. Um, what the reason why I believe that crisis, and my second and my second book is coming out in few months. I mentioned a lot about crisis. For me, crisis is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to emerge. It's an opportunity to see ourselves as the best version of ourselves. Now, the genocide was a crisis. It was a very big crisis that happened to the Rwandan community. Okay, the Tutsis. Let me actually not say Rwandan community. The Tutsis. Okay. Somebody like Josiane, um, 2 minutes. 2 minutes changed her life. Like, we have to put that in perspective. 120 seconds, 20 minutes, 120 minutes made her to
Second,
live today, made her to be a mother today. If she had sat down 120 seconds,
seconds.
yes, not minutes, 120 seconds. Thank you, Ken. 120 seconds. I want everybody to have that perspective and vision in their mind, that how one minute or 2 minutes of your life can change somebody's life. If she had sat down 2 minutes later, she would never have a book. She would never be on this platform. She would never have the beautiful children that she has today. To say all of that is, yes, we are hurting. It's been 27 years and it still feels like today. It still feels like yesterday that we watched our loved one lose their life. It still feels like yesterday that we saw them begging for their lives. It still feels like yesterday that we witnessed helpless, hopeless, powerless, some being raped, some being literally taken out the unborn children and cut to pieces. I've seen that. It makes you wonder, why am I alive? If there's no greater purpose, why on earth am I alive? Why on earth did I not die like the other 5-year-old children that were also just like me? I didn't run better, like Josiane said. She was not the athlete of the year in 1994. She didn't run quicker than anybody else. But I believe that we all survived for a greater purpose. We survived to make these people, the people that died, and rightfully, like those people that died just because they were Tutsi, they had one sin and one sin alone, to be Tutsi. And nobody chooses to be born the way they're born. Nobody chooses to be born in a family that they are into. And the only crime these people had was to be born Tutsi. It makes you wonder if we have people to this day that choose to be silent. Now I have a message for every single Rwandan person or every single person listening to the sound of my voice. You can no longer keep silent. This is not a political or generational topic. This is not a topic for people in their 50s or 60s or this is everybody. It doesn't matter if you were in the genocide or if you were not in the genocide. It matters, your voice matters, because choosing to be quiet means choosing to realize that over 1 million people were killed. You know what hurts me the most? We can't even number how many people died because some people don't have a body to bury. I'm not the only person who doesn't have the loved one to bury. Last time I mentioned that I don't know where my dad is, but it's not only my dad. My dad has siblings that were killed in the genocide. None of them. We don't know where they are. Now can you please tell me how can we still be silent when people try to change the history? When people are trying to deny the pain that we've been through. It's not that we it's not that we chose to feel it. So the path to healing is very, very rough. As much as we need God, and we do. I said to you, if it wasn't for God, I would be dead. If it wasn't for God, I would be a crazy person. But we can't just hide in religion. We need to put in the work. And the main reason of the purpose that we have as survivors is to speak, is to write, is to step out and say I was violated. If it costs you to lose your family, so be it. What about the people that are not here? What about those who have no voice? Who are still in holes under buildings that nobody knows, that maybe in 5 or 10 years we will find. Because make no mistake, to this day we still find bones of people, body parts. Can you please tell me, if we are alive and we are not speaking, what are we doing? What's the point of life if we choose to be silent? So my prayer, the reason why I prayed for this platform to be the way it is to be able to show everybody that we are not here. We are not here by mistake. We are not here randomly. But we can no longer choose to be silent, because our silence is destroying the legacy of those we lost. Thank you.
Powerful words. You said you're not here by random. You need to speak. Uncle Art, I would like to ask you. There's something you told me. The reason why you wrote your book as a fiction is so that everybody out there can be able to It's not an isolated situation. Sadly, you even call it madness. As in, what is it that you can tell somebody? You said you had to put it from a man's perspective because you started your conversation today saying women are very strong people. They have gone through serious things, and some of them have been abused. Josiane talked about earlier somebody who abused you, left you with a child, and gave you HIV. Denise earlier had mentioned that. Uh, Denise mentioned that there's some of the women in our organization. Some of them, it was very hard to even talk about forgiveness. They lost the purpose of living. What is it that you have really learned about? You said a lot of people have walked through you and have walked up to you and told you, it's like you are writing my story. It's like it might be fiction, but man, you are actually talking about me. What is it that you've really learned from these people sharing, these strangers hugging in the middle of the street and tell you, thank you for sharing my story? What is it that you've learned from them that really will help them in the healing that you can actually, as a parting shot, you can actually tell somebody that it will be really good for them towards their healing journey?
Excuse me, Ken, your voice is rebouncing in the background. I barely hear you.
Sorry about that. I was saying you had mentioned in your book that let me figure out where the noise is coming. Let me take the white noise from everyone so at least you can adjust it over. Is it now? Can you hear me clearly now?
Now is a little better than before, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to ask you, Aline was saying that the importance of sharing, as in we are dealing with denials and everything. You told us earlier today that your book was a fiction, and the reason you put it as a fiction is so that it doesn't become a tale. It's not so that it's more not a memo of a testimony, but as having it as a fiction, a lot of people have been working towards you and told you that is my story. You literally you literally wrote about me, and I'm thankful for that, for putting a light out to shed a light on whatever was happening to us. Our previous speakers have mentioned on that. Josiane said that in her upcoming book, she has a lady that her story was very bad, that she was raped, then contracted HIV and left pregnant. Denise talked about the women in our foundation, kind of sad similar stories. Then Larissa was talking about people doubting them. Aline herself has also mentioned that people have doubted her. Even today, people are still doubting. What is it that you have learned from people who did not have the voice to write, but they are saying, there's the random strangers you meet in the road who will stop you and tell you, Mr. Arthemon, thank you for writing, for telling my story. What is it that you've learned in their healing path that you can advise somebody who is somewhere and they have not gotten the courage to tell out their story out loud, but they are working towards their healing path?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I needed to emphasize, now I see the beauty and the importance of this platform we have now here with Aline. It's unbelievable to hear people talking about these issues, because the silence, I think it was Mandela, I'm going to quote, he used to say, at the end of it, we will remember not the people who killed us, but the people who knew that and kept silent. Maybe it's not said as it is, but it's close to that, what I'm saying. Talking is the master key of the process of healing, and everybody's agree with that. But it's not easy, as I said. Yes, There is some steps ahead now. There is a lot of steps forward, but we still have a lot of people who do not have the power of talking. But little by little, it's gonna come up. But the healing passed by that's the path. It's not two paths. It's only one. I'm gonna give you an example. I think it was 2 months ago. They found a huge, how you call it? In English, I forgot the name in English, and they found a big hole with a pit with a lot of people inside. And the guy who knew where the place was, he built a house on the top of it. He was living on the top of it, but few people around himself, his neighbors, knew that. And because he didn't want no one to come up and say if the house was built on the top of that thing, he was paying mass grave, yes. Yes, okay. He built his house on the top of a mass grave, and he was paying his neighbors, 2 neighbors who knew that house on the top of the grave. And inside the mass grave was more than 200 bodies inside there. For about 20 years, he was living in that house with his family. And he kept monthly, paying on a monthly basis, the guy who knew and who was always threatening to share the information to the government. At some point, he could not find enough money to keep paying the guy for more than 20 years. And the guy said, okay, you stop paying, and then I'm gonna share the information. This I'm talking is not a story I am inventing. It happened in Kigali, not 2 months ago. And the guy ended up sharing the information to the police. And the police came over and they digged inside his living room. They went deep and they found the mass grave. 200 bodies were in there. Actually, among those bodies, there was the big sister of my wife and his kid and her kid. They were in that mass grave. Can you imagine a guy living on the top of a mass grave of such a number of people for 20 years? Actually 27 years. And you see from there the power of sharing the information as what emphasizing Aline. It's not easy, but it's fundamental. The purpose of life to me is one thing. Actually, the life has no value at all if you're pretending to live for yourself. If you do not live for someone else, your life is useless. Because the purpose of life is to share life, is supporting each other. That's the reason why God created us as we are, in his own image. I remember after the genocide, after I heard my whole family was dead, was killed in the genocide, no one left behind. My mom, my dad, siblings, cousins, many, more than 200 people killed in 1 week. And as I was saying, everybody else, as of today, none of those people had a grave. No one knows where they are. But somebody knows where they are. He never said it. That made me really angry as I was growing up and getting older and older every day. I was so angry against myself, against everyone, including God himself. Now, I was wondering, God, why did you do this? Why have you allowed this to happen to our people? If you created everybody in your image, why did you, and you have the power to say no or yes, why did you say yes to this guy to kill people? But as I grown up, I end up understanding the purpose of life. I grow up as a Catholic, and that was it for me. But I end up changing my mind and accepting to be born again. I did it because I understood the common sense, the major purpose of life. We need to live for others, not for ourselves. If we live, I repeat it because that's what I really believe. If anyone is living for himself, his life is nonsense. You have to live for your own and for other people. You need to help around. You need to be, not everybody is unique, yes, but you need to belong to everybody after yourself. Because if you don't help yourself, you cannot help other people. But if you only help yourself, your life is, you have no purpose of life. From there, I remember when I was, I was ready to publish my book, I had a very serious issue because the first house, the publishing house I went through first, they accepted my book, they loved my draft, but with one condition. Because in my book, whoever gonna read the book, you're gonna, I repeat the God purpose, and I have a lot of quotes from the Bible. And that house asked me to remove all the quotes from the Bible. And I had paid money, some money, and I told them, no, you know what? This book, it doesn't belong to you. You're gonna print it, that is still my book. I'm not doing what you're asking me to do. I'm not removing this quotes of the Bible because that's what I want to be. And they say, okay, if you don't remove this quote of the Bible, we want to publish the book. And because you signed the contract, you're gonna be stuck with the contract, even if we go to anyone else. I say, okay, I'm gonna accept to pay your money back, and I'm gonna still go out. Because the quote I put in the book, they need to stay in the book. No matter what you say, it's still my book and not yours. I end up paying 800 franc money, no, euro. It was in France publishing house. I had paid a down payment of 800 euro, which is about double of Canadian money. I paid that money, and I left the house. I went in a different house, and this house didn't ask me any question about my codes. The reason why I'm saying this is why, because I was hearing other people what they said about the purpose of life. That is the one. If you believe in something, never move because of somebody saying, do this or do that. No, that's your purpose. Maybe that's your mission and you maybe don't know. If I see Aline, I am always amazed when you see her age and what she is doing. And one of the most important things is not what you do, not how much money you make, but when you are able at your age to put together on the same platform people from everywhere in the world. I call this a big purpose. It's a kind of calling. Because not everybody can do it. Only somebody can do it. Some people can do it because this is your calling, this is your purpose of life. And you can follow your path. Anyone can follow your path as long as you have the meaning and the willingness to do it. Yes, now, no matter how strong can be the culture in Rwanda, as I was saying, no one want to share sexual activity in public because it's a taboo. It used to be a strong taboo. It's no longer a strong. As we go, we have now, even on TV, some young lady talking about sexual issues openly. But these are the young people who were born after the genocide, most of them. But the people who went through the genocide are a different generation. They still follow taboos. They do not open and talk. But as we go, as I believe it was Denise who said so, thank you so much for what you're doing with that women. You see, I believe you are very proud of the work you are doing because your life, you don't, as I said previously, you don't live for yourself. You live for others. So, having a foundation like yours is one of the biggest purpose, and you're very lucky to have done it. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm planning to go for retirement very soon, probably sometimes this year. And I'm still looking for my own purpose because the purpose is not just writing a book. Yes, writing a book is one of the purpose because the beauty of writing a book is when you're lucky, is read by many people and end up in the hands of the people who really need it. As I told you on a previous intervention, I hear some people who call me and who are so happy to be out of the darkness just because of having read the book. It's very hard to understand the people who sit down and plan to kill other people. As I said, even if somebody come to you, tell you, you know what, you're gonna read in my book. If somebody come to you and tell you, you're gonna live 1,000 years, strong and life, we have not sick or whatever. Even if they tell you, you're gonna be here for a 1,000 year, people never remember that even 1,000 years are gonna finish one day. Because this world, we came here, few people used to live 1,000 years ago. They're no longer here. They tell you 1,000, you're going to be here. The average people live between 70 and 100 years. But if they say 800 years, like in the Bible, they're no longer here. That takes me back to think, why should I live for myself? What is the purpose? What's going to be left behind you? Because they're always going to be behind you. So we need to look into our life and find our real purpose. Why are we here? Why are we here? Why are you unique? Each one of us is unique. You're going to read the book, the people who read French, praying God, you're going to help me to translate in English. But when you're going to read this book, you're going to hear this young lady, Adelaide, how desperate she was for 27 years, living alone in America, like was saying Aline, living in America like her, and decide to go back to Rwanda after 27 years. And it's a long and huge journey. She was thinking about it, and she ended up making it happen. And she came up, starting living again after he came back to Rwanda. Now, that was the first time his he was able to share the story, everything she went through. She was like vomiting. When you are sick and tired with something you ate, when you throw up, maybe you get okay. That's what happens when somebody is writing. I remember myself before writing the book, as I said, I was always angry. But as I went through writing my book, I was feeling much better every single day. And people were not actually recognizing me. I say, what is happening to you? Because I was not really attacking no one, but I was no laugh, no joy, no nothing. Just stand up, go to work, like a robot, come back, go back on the computer, start writing non-stop, and not sharing any joy of life. And that was wrong. But it's human, though. That's how we react before something we cannot change. There is a proverb saying, we need to be able to accept what we cannot change. And that's the truth. To live for other and for yourself, you need to accept what you cannot change. Because no one can change, can rewind the time and take back our people, all the families we have lost. No, they will never come back. Because we have faith, probably we're gonna meet. I use the word probably because I'm not enough a believer in God. Yes, I do strongly believe in God, but we're still on the earth. We're still a human being. But I honestly, the purpose of life, we keep looking into deep inside to find who we are, because we don't know who we really are. Because I find myself I am now 65. I am still finding who I am every single minute. And I still have a lot to do. And I will perform as much as I can do. I was impressed this morning with the examples Aline was giving. It's unbelievable to see a young lady like you, Aline, preaching to people like me, even older than your dad. But you are impressive person, honestly. But what you went through, the right time you were able to find who you are and the purpose and what you want to do in life, is beyond what people could expect in life. Honestly, it is. I'm not trying to tell lies or something, but we are very lucky enough to have a country, because one day I'm gonna have maybe a chance to tell you to go through the history of Rwanda, because I'm not a historian guy, but because of my age and because the experience I went through, I believe I can share the history of Rwanda. I do it actually here, some college, universities, and whatever they ask me to drop by and explain what caused the genocide. No one knows, but anything has a root. Maybe on this platform one day I'm gonna have a chance to show you why the genocide happened. I have a powerful PowerPoint I keep sharing. Maybe we're gonna have a time one day to share it. You will see how people with no purpose in life can go wrong side of life. Many people think they live, actually they do not live, because they live right beside their real life, which they never discovered what it looks like. as I said, Ken, if you don't stop me, I would never stop by myself. You know me. You know me now.
Okay.
So yes,
I'll give you an extra. Let me give you an extra minute to stop yourself. I've given you an
okay.
extra minute to stop yourself.
I'm gonna wrap up here actually
Okay.
because the topic is the purpose of life and how people can learn from their experience is extremely fundamental for us. As I was saying, we now have a country, and I believe it's a country now with a purpose. Because once in 60 years, I guess, once it happens in the first time we have now a government who understands the value of life. Probably from now, Rwandans can live if they keep on this line, never come back in that atrocities. Because before we really did not live. I still remember when I was age of 16, 20s, what I went through. I will never forget. It was happened yesterday. Now, let's hope. It really is still too early now. As I said, you remember the Holocaust happened 75 years ago, and they're still struggling. For us, it's about a quarter of a century. It's normal to be struggling yet, but we're gonna get there. We have people like everybody here on this platform. Tomorrow we're gonna be maybe 2, maybe 4, maybe 100 platform like this. That's how we're gonna change the world. That's what's gonna help people to find our purpose. Thank you.
Thank you for wrapping it up. I'm really grateful for the words you said. When you were talking about purpose and you had mentioned about Nelson Mandela, the importance of somebody sharing. A quote popped in my head. I think it was Jeff Kennedy doing his inauguration speech. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I don't know how to paraphrase it.
That's another one, yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
that got me.
one.
That's the one. Okay, thank good. At least I have a good memory. That one got me thinking about Dr. Wolfgang. Your career, you've spent most of your career as an activist, and while Uncle Art was speaking about somebody who was being paid so that they do not say the truth. You see, as an activist, you come out to. You see, a part of the healing process, you need somebody to tell your story. If you are too, sometimes you might be weak to tell it for yourself. Dr. Wolfgang, you've been an activist most of your life, and I'll want you to, as a parting shot, I will want you to give us your insights. Now that I'm told I'm supposed to remind people about the time, I'll give you about 3 to 5 minutes. Daktari, I want you to give your view as an activist, how you've really seen the importance of telling, of being that person that Jeff was talking about, the one who thinks of what I can do to my society. Let me rephrase him to be not ask what your society has done for you, but what you can do for your society. And somebody like you being an activist, you're really doing something for your society. And what is it that you can tell somebody out there if they are seeing somebody is really struggling with healing over your life? What can you tell them to help the other person? The term that's coming, the Kenyan term that's coming in my head, the Swahili word is like kushika mkono, holding somebody's hand. What is it as an activist you can tell somebody about holding somebody's hand? Thank you. You need to unmute, Daktari. Dr. Wolfgang, please mute. Please unmute. You're still on mute.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. First, I want to thank Art and all the others that you have spoken so clearly also about your faith in Christ, in God. And I think this is a very important point, which is not usual, at least not in my country. Most activists would not talk about God. And when Denise wrote her first book, it was in German. The title would be translated, with God in the hell of the Rwandan genocide, then also some people said, oh, if you had left out God, your book would have been sold better. Yeah. But of course, this is an important part of her testimony. She has experienced God. She has struggled with God, and so I'm very much grateful that all of you have talked about this dimension of faith and the purpose, of course. Well, I must say I'm 75 years old now, and the last the last third of my life, the last 24 years, I've been working mainly for Rwanda, beside my historical research on another subject, revival movements, evangelicalism. This is my second purpose of life, to talk about that and to write books and articles about the subject which a few people have talked about. And also this revival movement, which started in Rwanda in 1929 and infected and influenced so many people. But my main activity in the last 24 years was for Rwanda. I could have earned many hundreds of thousands of euros in this time, but then nobody else would have done this work. So I decided to do this, and sometimes with a lot of opposition and problems, because I want to add, it's not enough to talk about your personal story, but I think it's also important to talk against genocide denial and all these negative forms of propaganda. Therefore, in the last weeks, I have recommended this book of Linda Melvin. I hope all of you know it, Intent to Deceive, Denying the Genocide of the Tutsi, by one of the greatest experts on the Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi. An excellent book where she shows the methods and the propaganda of genocide deniers and denegationists and revisionists in the last 27 years. And it's important that we unite also in this fight, that we find allies. Therefore, I have also become member of the newly founded Ibuka Germany, and you might find people, other people in your country too, to unite. I would be happy to get your email addresses that we can exchange about it. Another point which I would like to add is, and this is also part of my purpose, we should not only write and speak, but also we should do something practical for the survivors, because there are still thousands and thousands in Rwanda who need our help, but also who need to be inspired that they have power. We see that our women, we're supporting 300 communities now in Rwanda, how they have become power women, how they have changed. They inspire us. We don't see it as a one-sided relationship or a partnership, but we invite Rwandans to Germany, for instance, to inspire us, to tell about their story, to tell about their faith, and to change our society also. So the Rwandans have a lot to give to us too, and we should also invite them, and we should have a lively partnership in two sides. This is what I would like to add, and especially you would be happy if some of you might also become members of Yuriba Shalom International. Maybe in Canada, Art, we invite you become also a friend in Canada. We don't have friends now, but we are international. So we hope that one day we will also have friends in China, in Korea, and other parts of the world. And we have been invited to America twice, and to Britain when Denise's English book appeared. So we were, for instance, invited to give interviews to BBC and CNN. And but we hope also to find a lot of people who support us. We think every day how we can find practical ways to support the people. We have so many projects, and if you're interested, we can send you something by email. But this is in short where I also see the purpose of my life, and I'm so happy that I found this wonderful wife. She is, of course, more important than me, but I try to support her in her work since 12 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Thank you, Dr. Wolfgang. And we like the fact you really put it, I like your summary that we can all be part, spoken like a true activist, by the way. He's all about let's all come together. He's reaching out to everybody. We are partners here in Kenya. We are really lucky. We'll be happy to assist in any way we can, very easily. Before I also leave before I leave Germany, it's in my part in the short. I also want Denise. I want you to give your last remarks regarding the topic for today about healing. What is it that you can tell somebody? Again, 3 to 5 minutes. Tafadhali, that's Swahili for please. 3 to 5 minutes, please. Closing remarks, Denise.
Something to add. What I did not speak before is it has been spoken really. It's just to tell that we should not have any fear. So if we survived, as we have said, is that God has a plan in our life. So it's to talk, to tell the truth, not to lie, to tell the truth, and to continue to support each other in the way we can. And as I survived, I was to tell something very important. I was thinking about also during the commemoration time when we started. It's the word I said to God. When the militias Hutu attacked me to kill me, because my testimony is very special. I was a Christian, and God told me, He gave me a message through someone. He said, Denise, I will protect you. But when the killers came in my house to kill me, I told God, you disappointed me. Why you never tell me the truth that I survived? And then when I will die, because I did not have any chance to escape the killers, because they have been in my house, and even though they discovered me and they found me, but they did not kill me. And then when I was in this time of the commemoration, the voice told me, Denise, you said God disappointed you. Now, what can you say now? Then I told God, God, really forgive me. You are God who is faithful. You are God who's never do wrong things. So what I was to tell you, just to encourage you, do not have any fear. Just continue, because we survive all for a purpose. A purpose, and God has given us back the dignity through Jesus Christ. So let us continue to use this opportunity we got. And again, in our country, Rwanda, so if we have such grace of such government which allow us to speak, it's a big support we got from God. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Denise and family. That was really nice. Those are our friends from Germany. They've really given a good hand. Now I move to my neighbor down here in Kenya. Josiane, what will be your part in short for today regarding our topic for healing? What is it that you can tell our viewers?
Thank you, Ken. What is amazed me is that those people, all more or less, that platform, everyone has a background or something that helped him, her, to come over, or to continue the life in a positive way, which is good. That is so amazing. So we are showing the world that there is no other way. They will be trying the other way for happiness. They will be trying any other thing, but they will not get there. We can tell what I can tell people: just seek God, like everyone, what everyone has shared. We stayed, or we survived for a purpose. Such to know your purpose. Why? The reason why you survived, the reason why you're still alive. But look at Joseph in the Bible. When after all what his brothers has done for him, he didn't have any hatred for them. He just forgive them and love them. So we need the God who enables Joseph that time. He's still the same God. God never changed. So he will enable us to live our life positively, to live our life, to live our life without hatred. But the key word or the key of the everything is what is God. Thank you.
Thank you, Josiane, for that brief. Thank you, Josiane, for that brief. I'll go to my next neighbor, just across the border in Rwanda. Larissa, what will be your parting shot in regarding to our topic today? What is it that you can tell the viewers? If somebody fast forwards to now, what will be BAHO's legacy out?
Yeah, thank you. As our topic was healing, it's in continuous tense, so it will be a process. So I would encourage each and everyone to take courage and find a way to escape and breathe and find a way to live and live a wholesome life and find a way to not live in regret as those perpetrators, enemies wanted so, but live a life God has created you to live. So my last remark, I want to emphasize on one point that some people are waiting for the right time to share because, for example, there are those who say, like, maybe Josiane is sharing this story because she has children. Maybe this one is sharing this story because she's maybe another person is sharing because they are 70 years, what. But I'm here to encourage you. Some some people who are saying you can't share such story because you are still single. You never get married. You're going to tarnish your name. But we need to speak. I would rather die single. I would rather be in a society where they don't love me, where they see me and see that image in me. But when I'm helping someone, when I'm blessing someone and show them the light that I was shown, or the light that's shown upon my life. So I encourage each and everyone to live a wholesome life by sharing and taking a responsibility to be part of this, because if you can't do it for yourself, at least do it for your sister, for your neighbors, for your country, and for the whole world, because we need it together. We can't leave you behind. We can do it together. Without you, we can't make it. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Larissa, for that parting remarks. My next parting remarks will go to your fellow countryman who's in the same country with you. Mr. Hormisdas, the same question to you. What is your parting shot? What is the last words Hormisdas will give somebody in this situation? 3 to 5.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. For me, healing here in Rwanda is possible also because we have a good governance. We have a program like Isanamitima, like Mvura Nkuvure, is a program about the healing. And there is also unity and reconciliation, where someone can tell the truth, can seek for forgiveness, and can forgive someone. So very, very important, the governance, the good governance in our country. Another thing which is very important, the death penalty was abolished and many killers also survived. Now you can find a killer, a former killer, live with one person with one hand and another hand cut was with his neighbors, and they live together in peace. For me, is very, very important. Our government before the genocide favorish our healing, favorish our favorish the reconciliation between the Rwanda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hormisdas, for that brief and final remarks. I really appreciate it. Now, it's an international panelist. We were in Europe, we were in Africa, now we're going to America, the Northern American continent. And we'll fly all the way to Canada. So for those who are looking at me, I'm in Canada just for the record. We'll want Miss Uncle Arch. What will be your final remarks regarding the healing? What is it that you can say that if somebody forwards to you speaking right now, what will be your closing remarks on the topic? Uncle, you're on mute. You're giving wisdom, and the wisdom is on mute. We need to unmute so that we can hear all the wisdom.
You know what? Yeah, that happens. To summarize in one word, it would be just to be thankful to Aline. I will never thankful enough to her. And you, Ken, because holding this platform for such long hours is not easy, but is for a reason. We're not here for ourselves. We are here for a reason. My last word would be, I'm going to be praying for you you guys remain blessed really, because you're not finishing the work you started. It need to be complete. It need to be all over the world now, because it's extremely important to keep doing what we're doing now. It's my first attendance, and it's really great. My last wish is I can't wait to meet you again next time. But as everybody here published a book, wherever we are, we need to be. You need guys. You guys who manage this platform. You share these books, and we need to speak about this book and try to share with the people. People in Germany, people in Kenya, here in Canada, in America, try to share these titles around yourself, because the word in the book need to be out. That's really important. Yes, let's keep doing what we're doing, because it's really a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle, for those kind remarks. And last but not least, we'll move down. I believe it should be just down from Canada, just go down. although the way we are put is actually going up to the north of the Aline Umutoni. Aline Blessed Umutoni, could you please give us your final remarks on the topic so that we can look into the matter? So at least what will be, I believe this is your last book tour for the month, and also the last of your home state in Texas, where you relocated. What will be your last closing remarks to people listening and watching? 3 to 5 minutes, please, my sister. 3 to 5 minutes.
I heard you very loud and clear, but I don't promise it.
Ouch.
First of all, I just want to thank the panelists. I just want to not just say them vaguely. I want to start by thanking Mr. Arthemon. Yesterday I told you that I've been praying for God to bring people in your generation to share with us the history of our country and also to the world, because as much as we have books, we have people talking, but most of the time young people don't want to read history books. But listening to people like every person in this panel, it helped them to put puzzles, to put the pieces together and understand what happened to their loved one, to their grandparents, to their uncles and aunties and mothers and fathers. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Mr. Hormisdas. I actually personally want to thank Mr. Hormisdas for something that he did last week. Um, I never knew when my dad was killed. I was told that he may have been killed around May or mid-May, but I've never had anybody to help me to find the date. And Mr. Hormisdas, because he lives in the town where I was born and in the town where my dad was killed, he took that assignment to find out where approximately my dad was killed. And I want to honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that. Finally, I get to have a puzzle of my history put together. It's something that is not easy because I miss him. Though I know when they took his life, but I still miss him because I have not been able to bury him. Just like Mr. Arthemon said, 2 months ago they found 200 bodies under somebody's house. Now you can imagine that person was living in that house for 20 years. I keep on asking myself, how did he sleep at night? Sleeping on top of 200 bodies. But only God can answer those questions. Those are questions that I ask myself. What happens? What will happen to all these people? All the people that still have no answers. At least me now, I know when my dad's life was taken. At least I can remember him. What about those who have no idea where they are? Have no trace, no pictures, nothing to remember them. That's why this platform is here. So we can be able to remember them, talk about it. Remind people that it's important to keep the legacy alive, not just for the 100 days when we remember the people that perish in those 100 days. But for us as survivors, we live with it 24/7. I miss my dad every single day. When I graduated, I wished my dad was here. When I had my first job, I wish my dad was here. When I fell in love, I wish my dad was here to see it. So you cannot imagine how a girl can grow up in many countries without the hero that she looked up to until she was 5. So I want to say to every single person, this is my purpose. My purpose is to bring every single person together to share, to bring the legacy alive, to make the people that died, that they didn't die in vain, that even though there is no grave that has their name on it, that even though they didn't have the decency to die an easy death, but they had to be tortured to the point of death. Some had to bribe themselves to be able to be shot, that they didn't die in vain. And yes, we will be back in May. We will be back again and again and again and again to share our story, to speak. Not because we want fame or popularity, because we want to leave a legacy for the people that are coming after us, for my children, for my children's children to see. When one day they ask me, where is grandpa? Where is grandma? That they have at least videos in a book that shows that I did not forget them. If you've lost your loved one, I know many will tell me, I don't know how to write. Do a documentary. Have a video. Remember them. Remembering them in silence is still not right. They died a disastrous, monstrous life, and it is our responsibility to keep their legacy alive. And to my deniers, to the people that still are denying, I have a message for you. We will never stop talking. You can have all the degrees you want. You can write all the books you want. You can have every person in this world, but you can never ever change the truth, because the truth stinks. And just like that mass grave was found 27 years ago, wherever you are, you will be found, and you will pay for what you did. And if you are not found on earth, judgment is still there. It is not my job to make you pay for it. But I know full well my Bible that when Abel and Cain, is it Canaan or Cain? When Cain killed his brother Abel, God said, "What have you done?" Because the blood of Abel is calling out. The blood of the million of people that have died are calling out. And you will pay for what you've done in one way or another. The only weapon I have is the truth that I carry. I will not use a machete to pay you back for what you've done to my dad or my loved ones, but I will use my mouth and my story to silence you. Thank you.
Thank you, Aline, for those closing remarks. Um, as he has said, we shall be back. We will be back. We are going to be back. If anything I've learned today, for me as the moderator for the day, the good thing about this conversation, you have an outside I get to learn. And one thing has been clear, if you are, our topic today was about healing. So if you are going through healing challenges in your life, and you're in that crossroads, Aline said it's not going to be an easy path. Josiane talked about you have to start somewhere. Take that leap of faith. For her, it was just a 2-minute dash. She was the fastest person in the world. She was a kid at that time already, but she started the path. She took a leap of faith. Larissa put it in a very nice way. BAHO, you have to start. So leave whatever you're going through. Denise talked about the importance of sharing. Hormisdas talked about the importance of gratitude. And in our individual life, where we are in your life right now, there's one thing all my panelists have put it very loud and clear. Dr. Wolfgang put it like very loud and clear as an activist of his life. He said for the third portion of his life at 75 years of age, Uncle Arthemon at 63 years of age, the world put it that there's a purpose in your life. Everybody here has been referring to the Bible and for their Christianity towards the end. I myself am a Christian. The word that comes to my mind, I think it's Jeremiah 1. I'm really not sure about the verse. I think it's verse 4 or 5. Jeremiah, I think, was doubting his path, and the Lord told him, I knew while you were still in your mother's womb, and I know the plan I had for you. I don't know if that's the right word, you probably paraphrase it. So in whichever life
Jeremiah
you are,
1:5.
thank you, 1:5. Wow, I know that. Okay. So in whatever part in your life you're facing right now, the one thing we can tell you one thing is your path towards healing. Just know there is a purpose. There's a reason you're still here. You're still valid. And talk. All my panelists say it's important to share your story. It's important to talk about it. And as a journalist in my country, like putting it, the moment we stop talking is the moment we start fighting. So please talk, continue speaking, and put it very out there. Thank you everybody for spending your time. Thank you for creating your time. I know it's been late for some people. I think for the people in my time zone, it's at night. That is Hormisdas, Wolfgang, Josiane, and Larissa. I think it's almost midnight. For Aline and Uncle Ang, thank you very much for spending your afternoon with us. I was your moderator for the day. My name is Kennedy Maikuma. I want to thank you. Please share it with your family and friends. Share it to somebody that hears part. We will be back. This is our final episode for the month, but we shall resume in May 1st. Keep posted. We will prepare everything else. Thank you very much for the time. Thank you for everything you shared with us. And from Kenya, oh, okay. Uncle Ant wants to say something. I've muted you. Please unmute yourself.
I want to say the quote. I did not say it right. It says, at the end, we will not remember the words of our enemy, but the silence of our friends. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. And I think I want to end on that quote. If somebody is going through a healing part, I want you to be remembered as the friend who helped healing. I don't want you to be the friend who kept quiet. I'm talking about the friend. You know somebody right now in your life who really needs this. I want you to, after this video, whether you're watching it today, 20 years from now, 5 days from now, I don't care what time you're watching it. After this one, don't be that friend who kept quiet. With those few remarks, I was your moderator, Ken Maikuma. For my panelists, thank you. Goodbye. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your day. I hope this share it with your friends and family. Thank you very much. I think everybody can wave bye before we go offline. I will really appreciate that. Bye from everybody.
Thank you, Ken. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it, and we've been very nice for you. Thank you. Share with your friends. Good day.